on Paranormal Experience Radio, broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama.
And just like that, we're back live. I am Kat Hobson, your host here on Fate Radio, and glad to be here. I am joined tonight by somebody I just admire so much, Christopher Maggard. I have not had a chance to get to know him very well. We are not really in the same parts of the country, but I have gotten to see him at Mid-South and Scarefest, and he works with people that I admire a lot too. So I'm very excited to be able to have this conversation, even though he is on the road trying to get home from a location scout for his next big project. And I can't wait to learn more about that as time goes by either, because I think that's going to be neat. And in chat, we're getting I really want to see this movie now. They're looking it up on IMDb and pretty into it. So I think that's amazing. And actually, I did share your IMDb because I think that's just way too neat that this is coming. And the genre is something that is not always my color Kool-Aid, as I said before, but I'm drawn to this film. Do you feel like you could share a little bit about it, without giving too much away and making people think, oh, well, I already know all about that? So the storyline?
I could tell you, the storyline is basically, in the 1960s, a little girl, what it says on the IMDb page, where a little girl she's killed at age 7, but the thing is, she was born possessed. And then she taunted her teachers for 7 years of her life, or taunted people and her teachers for 7 years of her life before she was killed by her teacher. And then fast forward to modern day, and I take this paranormal group that's going in there trying to find out the truth of this haunted school, and they run into the most twisted and challenging and life experiences that they would ever see in their lives. You know, the stories that people always hear, oh, I've captured the best evidence ever, but what if the best evidence captured you?
That's something that every investigator ponders, right?
I don't know. Do they?
I think they might.
What would they do if they actually met? What would someone do if they actually ran into what they think they've been claiming? Or the demon word gets thrown around in the paranormal field quite a bit. Too much.
It's not.
And what would they do if they actually found one?
The people that I know who actually, I believe, did, to a person ran. They left their client and they got the heck out of Dodge. They went back. They told their client they were seeking help, but they left.
Yeah.
And some of them left equipment. I mean, I'm serious. You know, big time equipment, big time ghost hunters, right? Not investigators, ghost hunters. And the reason that I tend to not like to use that term unless I'm supporting a friend's company or something is because I wouldn't want to be hunted. I would get such an attitude if somebody was hunting me. You know, and in my experience, you communicate. You don't hunt and taunt and be confrontational and in your face. It's a conversation. It's a, can I help? What do you need? But the very, very, very few people I know who have actually gone into what they thought was a normal residential case only to find demonic behaviors and activity. Behaviors are not so much a clue, okay, because things will do that. But they ran out the door, down the street, into their car, and left their equipment set up.
Wow.
So, and I was like, oh my goodness. So yeah, I think that you have to pay attention to what you ask for.
Exactly. It's exactly the point. And it's Rosa Leigh, I would say, is more, it's a paranormal horror supernatural film that hopefully will make people think, as far as paranormal people, the people in the paranormal world, hopefully they will think about sometimes what they ask for. And sometimes, they got to put their egos aside and their bronze and bravery aside and be honest with themselves and true to themselves of what they're actually dealing with. Because, like you said, if you go around taunting and say, yeah, I got this and I got that, well, maybe that is going to get you.
Well, I think we all know that person that has happened to, whether it's local or, you hear about it, or celebrities that might come across something of that situation. It can happen to anyone.
Right.
It doesn't normally.
And I think what happens with a lot of, and I'm not trying to make the paranormal field look bad at all, or I'm not saying everybody's like that, but I think it's become too more of a media sensation now, as opposed to exploration and studying.
Mm-hmm.
And, people use the word scientific, and I don't know too many scientists that are actually in the paranormal field. And I think the media sensation needs to kind of slow down, because let's say we're actually the spirits or the ghosts, and what do you think they're thinking of all the people who are trying to make a media sensation out of it? What do you think the spirits are saying right now? Like, hey, what about us?
Well,
are you using us for a tool for your gain? Can you imagine what the spirits are thinking?
I can, because I hear it sometimes from them. And, I find that so upsetting when you have a spirit that's trying to communicate only to realize that nobody's really interested in what's happening to them, or what did happen to them, or why they're still there. I agree, there are not many scientists in this field because nobody wants to do repetitive, regulated experiments. Nobody wants to share how they got the results that they got. Nobody even knows. Everybody has a K2, but who knows how they actually work and what you're really looking for.
Right.
Right? Because, I don't know. That's my own bandwagon. I don't mean to hop on there. But I share your opinion.
Okay.
I share your opinion on a lot of that, because you have people like Lloyd Auerbach and Barry Taff and a lot of other men and women of that era of paranormal research who started out doing psi research, because they are all tied together. And now people are looking at different methods of physics, different fields of physics, as possible contenders for how to get the communication validated and located and stuff. And you still have people running around in the dark, kicking in doors, screaming, come and get me, or whatever. And, I hate to tell people that, for the most part, I think that media side of things, that ship has sailed. But,
Right.
It's time to take it to the next level and get serious about it if that's what you're interested in.
sometimes I think people just need to sit back and just kind of slow down, and just start to remember who this whole field is about. And it's about the unknown and actually trying to find out how they even exist.
Yes.
And I think that's why I got to the point, and I was telling my buddy Sean this, that when I decided I'm retiring from the field, I've got as far as I could. And I think that's with experimentation, repetitive experimentation on a certain type of communication, or without, because we're not scientists. I'm nowhere near a scientist. But
Was that your peanut gallery?
Yeah, that was my wife. Yeah, and so it was. We started dealing with vibrational frequencies several years ago.
Interesting.
And we, because if you think about it, everything around us is in flux. It's always moving because everything's made out of atoms.
Yes.
So atoms always are moving. They call it vibrational frequency, and each one has its own tone from the frequency. And so, the table, a coffee table, or the desk you're sitting at, or the bed you're laying in, or the walls you're next to, and they all have a vibrational frequency. So, what if those atoms that come from a body retain our memories? And that's how we're communicating through vibrational frequency of those atoms that retain our memories as we pass. So we develop certain tones that hit between from infrasound all the way up to 20,000, 30,000 hertz. And so each tone affected an area differently. Like a prison, it would seem like there would be more energy and more aggravation going on. If we went into a hospital using the very same tone, there was nothing. It just went dead quiet. And no pun intended there.
Well,
but
I do that too. I understand. It's just dead.
We learned that vibrational frequency seems like to be the connecting tool to the unknown. If you wanted to go more scientifically to explain it.
Well, Tesla said that at one point, and he was a pretty smart cookie.
Tesla was amazing.
Tesla was amazing. But he actually did say that, if you're trying to find answers, then you need to go to vibration and energy, and he was just on top of these things.
Yep. Absolutely. Yep. Tesla even invented wireless communication.
Yes, he did. And electricity.
Yep, he sure did. And it's too bad that he finally got recognized now because he died a poor man, broke poor man.
Yes, he did. With all of his research stolen.
Yep. And J.P.
Or confiscated. Confiscated, I guess. This is how they justified it back then. But,
yeah, correct.
But, yeah, you're right, because there was money there. And blocking it was also money.
Yep.
So, I just wish that people had been more willing to let that information get out. Because I think that our environment of our planet, and I think that everything relevant to our planet, our water systems, our power systems, the construction methodologies, I think all of that would be so much better. And, it's not. So you can't really go back and fix things, but you do what you can.